You're live.
Hey, everybody. We are back for another AMA session. We tried our hardest to cover as many of the questions as we could in the last session, and it looks like we're back to square one. So we answered a lot of questions, and more questions are coming in faster than the rate that we can answer them. So we want to get as many done as possible. So we are going live again, and I'm going to cut out the waffle and make sure that we get through as many questions as possible. So if you are watching this on YouTube, then check out the live chat. Pinned to the top is a link where you can ask your questions. On that link, you can, don't worry, it won't take you away. For you, the YouTube video is embedded. Vote other people's questions. This is an ultra-focused, targeted AMA session where we are answering questions for those that completed the four-part free live masterclass, and also those that are considering joining the online wealth management program that starts on Monday. We are just filling up the final slots now. Most of them went out during session 4 of the live masterclass, and we can't wait to start on Monday. A few FAQs that we got. Over the weekend, make sure you're on the email list at retirementplanb.com, and we're going to send out an FAQ with all the questions. So one of the most frequently asked questions that we got was, I can't make Monday, is it still worth me doing the program? The answer is yes. You'll have access for 2 years, and you can catch up. So if you can't make a session, Monday is when we release the content, and Friday is when we do a live session. If you can't make the live session in your time zone, then you can submit a question in advance, and we'll upload the recording where we cover all those questions for those on the wealth management program. But we release the first set of content on Monday, and therefore we're wrapping everything up, and we'll be closing either on Sunday or before all the 500 wealth management program slots have been taken. So, Azad, have you got we got a screen share up here? We should be able to show you the board. We're picking out the questions that get the most upvotes on the webinar 2 page. And so if you asked your questions yesterday or on Masterclass 4 or Masterclass 3, those questions will still be there. And if they get upvoted, we'll take them from the top. So Azad, let's jump right in. We're going to try and be as time efficient here and get through as many questions as we can. And then we'll be emailing out additional FAQ, additional recordings, and that should give you everything you need to have a complete strategy and plan for what to do next as a result of the Retirement Plan B Live Masterclass.
Okay, before we do that, I think everything is sort of frozen, so we might need to jig that. So
okay, let me reboot the screen. Okay,
you're back.
How's that?
Brilliant. Yeah, that's working fine. Thank you. All right, so let's get these questions rolling.
The other common question, just while Azad is picking those up, many people asked, can the US do it? Absolutely, the US. So many people did it from the US last year, and they had a great time with it. So the results were very good. The only thing that we say to people is the cryptocurrency industry has some, exchanges and services that are restricted to US vendors. And therefore, when we recommend things, where you are from the US, we try and recommend alternatives, but there's nothing restricting you from doing it on our side. It's just whether a particular exchange or various thing will serve US customers, but there's still plenty of people that can serve US. Many people are asking if it's right for their country. We designed this to be completely global. And we give you a global structure. We think very global, and then you can take what you learn, and you can go a little bit localized down in things like tax and inheritance as well. But that is a completely global structure, is universal here. And then you might need to go a bit deeper into the detail with local advice as well.
Okay, ready?
Okay, Azad, let's jump into the questions. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, the first question is from Kathleen. Hi, I purchased the wealth management program on Tuesday. I can't log in or retrieve password. No response from support since Tuesday. Please help me get access.
What we did notice is a few people did a typo when they actually registered. We noticed there were a few people that did that, and we had this last year as well. So if there was some kind of typo in the email, then you wouldn't have received a login because it would have gone to the email with a typo. We had about 5 or 6 people last year, and we noticed that we're getting 5 or 6 people like that. So if you put your support ticket number on this board or do a DM on Bank to the Future's Twitter or something like that, then we can try and look at that support ticket. But I do know there was a big influx of tickets, but I think people have got through most of those. So maybe that's already been answered. And also the other thing you can do is if you head over to retirementplanb.com/login, then you can enter your email and password. And if you don't think you got it, then hit reset password and enter your email. And then if you don't receive anything, it's because you may have entered an incorrect email when you registered. Don't worry, our support will look after that for you. They'll get it all sorted and there'll be no problems there.
Okay. I live in Indonesia. Transferring money abroad is very expensive here. Can you advise me what is the best option to transfer funds for your services?
So if you're looking to buy the online wealth management program, then we accept card and crypto. And if you're in Indonesia, then crypto might be the best option for you. So you can purchase a stable coin. I know some of the exchanges in Indonesia. And I do know that it is pretty tricky in Indonesia. We know that. So, but card or crypto should make for certain cases. And then if you're earning in your local currency, then I recommend that most people should start thinking of themselves in terms of stable coins and US dollar stable coins. We'll cover a lot more on that on the wealth management program. But people, you can implement the retirement plan B by offboarding onto fiat. So you can do that on banktothefuture.com. And yeah, the FX fees you can't change really. Go offboarding from your fiat currency to a cryptocurrency or a dollars. Unfortunately, we can't fix the banking system. We're trying to disrupt it, but maybe you want to start going a bit more crypto and you'll find that you get some benefits there.
All right, question from Teresa. If we join the retirement plan B, but are unavailable to join you live due to the time zone, will it be recorded and we get the full benefit of the content, example, bonus lessons?
Yeah, absolutely. So everything is, the content on Mondays is completed online. You can do that in your own time. You don't have to do it on Monday. We just release the contents on Monday. And then the sessions are at a fixed time, but you can submit your questions in advance and you can watch a recording. So it's the same experience whether you join the live session. The live session just makes you more accountable to a set date and make sure you don't fall behind. But if you have the same level of self-discipline, then you can do it all through the recordings and in your time zone.
All right, we have, okay, this is an interesting one. Question from Radha Charan. One, the bank will not allow me to transfer funds to Bank to the Future or exchanges. What will happen if I sign for online wealth management and I cannot transfer funds to invest? And two, this is a serious problem for me. My bank strongly stated they will not authorize payments to investment projects of any kind, no matter what I say.
So you're going to have to start working with either an over-the-counter provider. That's something we cover on the wealth management program. Or you're going to have to start to figure out a user flow of how you go from your local currency to stable coins. And once you're in stable coins, you can engage with most platforms and most service providers. What you have to figure out on your side, and I don't know what country you're from, but a way of getting money from your bank to stablecoins, and or start looking at other crypto-friendly banks and services. And these are all parts of the service that we cover on the wealth management program. You don't have to use Bank to the Future to make investments. We recommend, we're platform agnostic. We just explain what services we offer, but you can also go and implement this with some localized services that may be a bit easier for you. But yeah, it's a challenge. But part of offboarding from fiat is finding that service that can take you from your fiat currency to a stable coin. And from our experience, wherever you are in the world, unless you're from a sanctioned country, but even from sanctioned countries, most financial services outside sanctioned countries can't deal with sanctioned countries. So if you're from a non-sanctioned country, then you should be able to find a way. If you can complete that part, then you can engage in most of the services.
Okay. Can we use the price of the course against tax?
That would be a question for your tax advisor or your accountant. So if you purchase for your company, for example, and you consider this a company training expense, then that would just be part of your normal way of accounting for expenses. And if you have some kind of tax benefits and tax write-offs for being able to treat this as an expense, it completely depends on your setup. That's not something we can advise on. That would be something you'd have to speak to your accountant on.
Okay. What happens when the 2-year membership after the course is up?
So the 2-year thing is we don't really intend on taking it away after 2 years, but legally we're only committing to 2 years because we can't sign up for lifetime obligations. We don't know what the future of the world holds. And so we give a 2-year access, but really there's no desire to change that. But contractually, we're only obligated to give you access for 2 years. So that's why we put that there. It's just a legal protection that we have to do because we know we can 100% commit to running those servers and giving you access for 2 years. But in theory, by our terms and conditions, after 2 years, then we can revoke access. But whether we do that or not is another thing.
Okay, lost over 30 Bitcoins in 2017 and following the trading, this trash market, I am not sure if it makes sense to sign up for a wealth management service.
So there's two parts of our online wealth management program. And it's interesting that you say that because last year we were called the online coaching program. But what we realized that we built is all of the tools that everyone needs to build and protect their wealth. And so we thought wealth management seemed more appropriate. Now I'm starting to get the sense that when we say wealth management, people are thinking they have to have wealth before they can take advantage of it. Well, there's two parts to this: build and protect. Once you have built your wealth, then you can protect your wealth. And if you build your wealth with protection in mind, then it makes it a lot easier when you do the wealth part. And so while our ideal client would already have funds, we also want to serve those people that may not have all the funds. And so we do two portfolios. One where I take $1 million of my personal savings and share the exact setup and the exact strategies that I'm using. And another is if I had no savings to regular income. So we can cater for that. Obviously, if you don't have, if $3,000 is all the money that you have, then this, it's completely up to you whether you think that's appropriate. And maybe you want to go and implement what you learned in the free masterclass. And if we do one next year, come back next year. We had a lot of people that did that where they weren't in a position to do the program last year. They implemented what they learned in the free masterclass, became wealthy enough to afford it this year. And we've had a bunch of people that said, geez, I wish I did it last year. When everybody, when the people that implemented it got 3 times return by implementing the strategy, They wish that they had implemented protections. And so, which one is right for you that's your decision. There's no pressure here. There's no hard sell. The 500 spots will be taken by people that want to complete the program. And we completely understand whether you are in a position to do this program or not. That's completely your choice.
Okay, question from Sharon. Simon, I had to send in 2 separate payments, but now I've received a refund. I really want to purchase. Should I resend again? Support has not answered.
If there is any refund, it's because the payment provider may have, and I don't know if this is an old question, because I know support's got through most of the tickets now. So maybe this was from the previous session. But again, if you have your support ticket number, then the team will get round to those. There was a huge influx of tickets. If there was a refund, it would have been because the payment service provider that we use for cards may not have been able to take that, or it might have been your bank that rejected the payment. That's what happens when you're in fiat. So you might want to take the crypto payment option, which is always the preferred option for most people once they get into the crypto game. If it's got 2 payments, don't worry, support will support that for you in the end. If one of those is completed or if both of those is refunded, that's a support question, and they'll make sure they get back to you on that.
Can we join the portfolio builder at a later date, or does a decision need to be made upfront?
No, the portfolio builder is 100% independent. You shouldn't make your decisions about whether to do the online wealth management program based upon whether you want to do the portfolio builder. Once you are in the online wealth management program and you decide that the portfolio builder service is right for you and you qualify, you at the moment would have to be a high net worth investor to qualify for the portfolio builder. We're trying to open that up to a wider audience, and our team are working on that actively. But treat the two completely independently. The online wealth management program was built so that you can implement it with or without the portfolio builder, and there's no obligation. And should you want to do it later, then if you qualify to do that, then you can do that later.
Will there be another wealth management program early next year?
No, there won't be one early next year. We have not decided when or if we will do one. It looks like people really enjoyed the format of the live masterclass, where we do 1 year, we take in our 500 people, they go out, they get all their results, and then we do a live masterclass where we discuss everything that's changed since then, and all of the people that got the results can start sharing the results that they achieved. That seems to be a really nice formula. So we get 1 year to produce results, and then everyone can share back their feedback and everything from that. So we're not actually planning at this stage beyond completing this program. And we also want to launch a portfolio builder to group 1. And then once we've serviced group 1, group 2, so that, before we start thinking about another wealth management program.
Okay, surely part of rebalancing is to sell Bitcoin when high and rebuy when low.
So no, rebalancing, that's called trading. Rebalancing is where you set defined percentages of your portfolio, and once a year when it gets out of whack, you put it back into the line of what the goal is. So that may involve buying more Bitcoin, or it may involve selling Bitcoin. But don't confuse rebalancing with trading. Trading is trying to pick the top and bottom and trying to optimize based upon the price. And the retirement plan B wants to discourage trading as much as possible. Rebalancing is a sound investment principle when balancing your portfolio. If you don't know what any of that is, that's a part of the online wealth management program. And it's just where we take the tools that professional fund managers use and help people implement it into their individual retirement plans.
Okay, this next question, I guess I can help answer that as well. So Sai, you can feel free to jump in on this, but 500 students and only 2 testimonials, 1 repeated. Why so few that you needed to repeat instead of new testimonials? The answer that I can give from my part, because I actually spoke to those candidates who kindly volunteered and said that they wanted to act as testimonials. The 2 that we selected had actually really gone through the entire program. We had quite a number of people who were interested to do the testimonial, but wanted to remain anonymous. And in fact, a lot of people wrote in saying that they would have done the testimonial, but they want to remain anonymous with that. So that's my answer there. Simon, do you have one?
Yeah, and also a promise that we said we would do is everybody gave, well, we had about 300 testimonials, but we were so busy with the masterclass that we only managed to line up a few interviews. I think this time next year, if you are joining the wealth management program or you're from the first group, then we'd really like to focus early on getting out some of it was really a last minute decision to start recording some of those things. And we only gave the group 1 people 1 or 2 weeks notice before we started recording those sessions. I think after this program, we're going to have a lot more time and we'll start doing a lot more. But also yesterday, we shared over the 300 different testimonials that we've received. And I think we were going to be turning that into a PDF for those people and uploading that. I don't think the team got round to that today.
Okay, are Hong Kong and Cayman Island type structures affordable to ordinary people?
So our portfolio builder service is designed to be a low-cost structure relative to how much it normally costs. But no, if you are looking to do, you would have to have achieved a certain amount of wealth within your structure, your investment portfolio, to cover a lot of the setup fees around that. We can recommend the types of different service providers we use. We've put together a low-cost structure, which is the portfolio builder, but that is not available to everybody. So they can be pretty pricey to set up a structure. And so one thing we will go through is the low-cost types of structures where you can use retirement plans and just cheap off-the-shelf companies, should you want to do that. And then maybe once you're in a position where there's a bit more wealth in there, then you might want to do a restructuring exercise with your legal and tax advisors when you understand the structure. If we could offer portfolio builder to everybody, and if the regulators allow us to do that, then we have the solution there. So the best thing about this is the community at Retirement Plan B. They all have a common goal and a common mission, and they start sharing some of the different services that they're using. And so the community becomes a really important tool for making sure that everybody's progressing towards the direction. And they shared many different tools that they're using as they start implementing as well.
If investing via Bank to the Future, do we have access to participate in Cayman Segregated Trust for crypto stocks and Ledger Vault for crypto self-custody?
So the Portfolio Builder is a Bank to the Future service. So you can sign up as an individual, or you could, if you had a Portfolio Builder, then you can sign up as part of a structure as well. So we offer Bank to the Future accounts for both entities and individuals. And the Portfolio Builder service is something that we're in beta with, available to high net worth investors. Then we'll be rolling it out to more of the first group. Then it will be available to those that qualify in the second group. And if we secure additional regulatory approvals and permissions, then we'll be rolling out a lot wider. But yes, both the first group of Portfolio Builder people, they all have accounts on Bank to the Future with their Portfolio Builder.
I see the course uses stock to flow as its primary Bitcoin valuation model. Given high expectation of $98,000 for November, what do you think are the implications if not met?
So the stock to flow is just a methodology for determining what the future potential might be. We do not have, what we do is we give the spreadsheets, and if the model goes over the stock to flow or goes under the stock to flow, then we give you models where you can decide what you think is more realistic. And what we do is we encourage people to do the most conservative approach. And here's the beauty. Even if the most conservative approach, so Bitcoin has averaged 113% per year, and even if you use a 20% per year, which would be significantly underperforming the history, then you can see the results of the growth and income compounding, and it's still, you can then model that into, so you don't have to use the stock to flow. You could just simply use a very conservative approach and see if it helps you meet your financial goals. And then you can use that as a tool and mechanism to see if you can meet your financial goals based upon those forecasts and projections. So that's all factored into the model when you're planning out, exactly how to manage your affairs.
Does retirement plan B give us access to the Bank to the Future token? And how does that work?
No connection at all. So if you want to buy the Bank to the Future token, you can go buy it on a cryptocurrency exchange. And the Bank to the Future token is a utility token that gives you priority access to deals on Bank to the Future, discounted trading fees when you're trading on when you're buying and selling shares on the secondary market. And also, as you build your portfolio, then you can use the Bank to the Future token gives you a kickback. But if you have a portfolio builder and that has an account on Bank to the Future, then you can use all those services for your retirement plan. But you don't need to do retirement plan B in order to purchase the Bank to the Future token. There's no connection there.
I know this is meant to be a long-term retirement plan, but do we also plan for cashing out monthly once retirement has started?
So the way that we plan it is around you deciding and setting your goals of what you want to do with your finances, and then having an allocation that is designed for withdrawing in order to meet those expenses and meet those goals. So if you decide that at a certain period you want to withdraw monthly, normally we would talk about lump sum withdrawals based upon achieving those financial goals, but the model is really flexible around that.
What if I have other crypto platforms where I deposit crypto for an interest? Can they be included in the portfolio company?
So you could set up your own retirement plan B using your own services, no problem. If you want to use our portfolio builder service, then it is the reason we can do a low cost structure is because we've done all the integrations. And so the more you want to bespoke it, the more expensive the service would get, because then we'd have to deliver individualized services. This is really a one size fits all, and we offer 8 different approaches because it goes through all the different strategy mixes that we cover in the online wealth management program. But no, we can't bespoke it because at that stage you'd need a lot more expensive service, and you'd need to go for the setup for yourself. Over time, obviously, as more and more people do the portfolio builder, we'll probably be able to build in a bit more flexibility into it. But the idea is to offer that low-cost structure to as many people as qualified to do the portfolio builder once we're in that position to be able to roll it out more further. And that requires us having repeatable services without all of the service-led, having to do the uniqueness and bespokeness for each and every one, because then you're looking at a bespoke wealth management service at that stage.
Okay, sorry, I accidentally. I wanted to ask a question on behalf of a person called Miguel from Brazil. They said they're really grateful for what you're doing, Simon, and appreciate all the content that's being put out there. But their question was, why is it you doing what you're doing? They believe in karma, and clearly you're doing something that's quite karmic.
I do believe in karma. I'm a big believer in karma. You give what you put out there. And so my mental and moral roadmap has always been karma. That is what I've always put out in the world. That is the same thing. But at the same time, you may be asking, we even had people to say, well, you've given a lot of free content, but why don't you make the whole wealth management program free? That's simply because this is a Bank to the Future product. Bank to the Future is a business. We have many of our clients are our investors, and this is a Bank to the Future product, and so that goes to the business. And my job as CEO is to look after those shareholders, and there's many people behind that that cost a lot of money in order to make these structures work and scale and grow that company. So yes, karma is certainly one of my principles. And I just believe in abundance, really. So the more content we give, the more people that make a big financial... We built Bank to the Future that way, really. When we started in the early days, it was really selfish why I started. I just wanted to be able to invest in all the companies that were building the Bitcoin industry. And so when companies like BitPay and Kraken and, Bitfinex and Coinbase and many other companies in our portfolio like Circle and Robinhood and many of the others, in the early days, some of these companies found it very hard to secure funding because our industry was so strange. So we built the platform to give them a home where they were welcome. We were probably one of the first companies in the world to accept Bitcoins for investing, if not we're the longest standing company in Bitcoin. We're the world's first crypto securities business. And really, I set it out because I just wanted to be able to invest in all this stuff because I believe that the future of finance does not equal the past. And I wrote this book, Bank to the Future, Protect Your Future Before Governments Go Bust, where I laid out a forecast of how people can protect themselves over a decade ago. Became the first published book in the world to include Bitcoin. And one thing led to another, and we wanted to bring more and more people with us. We started creating, so I met Max Kaiser at the first Bitcoin conference. We created a company that was investing in many of the companies, investing in Bitcoin mining, paid out thousands of Bitcoin when it was about $250, Ethereum mining products when it was about $1. And we just generated a lot of wealthy people. And as they became wealthier, they started reinvesting in the industry. The ecosystem became where it is today. Really, what we have found, the more wealthy our investors get, the more they invest. The more they invest, the more I can access deal flow. Then we found that what was the difference between the investors that did incredibly well and the investors that didn't do so well. And so we packaged all of that up into the Retirement Plan B online wealth management program. A few years ago, we realized that very few people just knew how to invest in this industry. So we started creating free content on YouTube. And when we started creating free content on YouTube, my subscribers went, we had a piddly little subscription. Even on my YouTube channel, it was me speaking at the first Bitcoin conference. We had a very, very small, because we're not an influencer. We weren't doing this by trade. We were busy running a business and supporting the industry. And then the subscriber base, like 10x, and people really wanted this content. And I think that it should be 100x by now. The value that we get, we're still a lot further to go there. The more people that got wealthy, just like we did the Retirement Plan B wealth management program last year, 500 people came along. Some people took the free content and then they implemented it, and now they're in a position to purchase it today. So to me, it's all karmic. We put out there, we try and give abundantly, and it tends to come back and reward.
Okay, question from Delayed Gratification. Gold. How do you hold this within the portfolio builder? Or what vehicle is best to use to hold this asset, if at all?
So gold fits in, it's not in the portfolio builder at all. The portfolio builder is just for the Retirement Plan B crypto part. But in terms of when you do your asset allocations on the wealth management program, you may decide that you want to allocate some to the security side, which would be physical. And you also might want to implement a retirement plan A, which would be a contract or an ETF. And we go through the exact products and the exact makeup of my retirement plan A. Whether you can hold physical or not, or whether you have to hold it with a custodian, really depends upon your personal setup and whether you're in a position to be able to do that. That may not be safe for you, and so most people end up having to use custodians with gold. But this is certainly not a course about how to invest in gold. There's probably other great places to do that. This is really about putting together a bespoke plan, and then you can go off and figure out where the exact right way to purchase gold in line with the strategy and goals that you've set yourself.
Number 5, don't be overexposed to Bitcoin. Seems contradictory to your message, Simon. Please explain.
So I do not have my entire wealth in Bitcoin, and that's it. I implement a retirement plan B, and a retirement plan B diversifies and creates overexposure to Bitcoin. So it takes advantage of the wider crypto markets in order to make higher returns to end up with more Bitcoin. And it also diversifies into a retirement plan A and a gold portion. So we had dollars, we had gold, we had retirement plan A, we had retirement plan B. And what I want is unshakability for everybody. So when I wake up in the morning, I fully know what it's like to wake up with financial anxiety. So when I was £100,000 in debt, fully exposed to just one business succeeding with no assets, and letters coming in every day asking me to pay them, I know the level of financial anxiety that can make people feel. Today, I'm in the good, fortunate enough position after 20 years of obsessing over financial markets and being involved in the right place and implementing exactly what I go through in the online wealth management program. There's nothing in the program that I go through that I don't do myself. So if I don't do it myself, I just don't simply go through it. So that's really my fundamental principle. I don't tell anyone how to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. And that's just my principle. And so I'm in a good enough, fortunate enough position to know exactly what it's like to be unshakable. I believe that if inflation happens, hyperinflation, deflation, economic decline, economic depression, economic growth, economic boom markets, Federal Reserve switching global central bank digital currencies, I set myself up so whatever happens, I don't need to worry about the politics, and that takes away the psychology of worry. And when you take away the psychology of worry, it's amazing what one can achieve. And so really that's what I want for more and more people. And if more and more people can get to that position, then it doesn't make you worried when Bitcoin starts crashing or you are really 100% in Bitcoin. I'm all for risk management so that you can psychologically not have to concern yourself and do the things that make you most pleasurable in life. And so that's my whole philosophy. Bitcoin is a huge part of that, don't get me wrong. But for example, it was probably a stupid move to buy my house outright with Bitcoin. In fact, it was a stupid move. We can all be Bitcoin pizza guys. I've got 1,000 Bitcoin pizza guy stories. I used to give away Bitcoin to as many people that would take it. Some people wouldn't even take it. Some people lost it, I'm sure. But in the early days, I used to give away more Bitcoin than you can imagine. But it comes from my abundance mindset as well. But also, deciding to make a purchase of a house using Bitcoin was a security decision, not necessarily a financial decision. So we all have human needs and human emotions. And if we put together a good plan, we understand how to plan that a lot better. But most people are just really making day-to-day decisions, living month to month. And if I can make a difference in that for more people, then my satisfaction in life is being fulfilled.
Okay, a question from Erin. Do we own our own keys for our crypto assets, or are we buying crypto from your wealth management program that is mirroring the original assets like Revolut?
Yeah, so again, confusion between what the online wealth management program is and what you do with that information. The online wealth management program is all the tools and everything you need to make a decision, and then you can decide what to do. So if you decide to set up Bitcoin where you own the private key, or you decide to set up a custody account, then we give you all the tools to make those decisions. If you end up doing the portfolio builder service, then this would be the retirement plan part of that. And that would be completely different to the wealth management program. So this is not a fund. This is not us making investment decisions for you. This is not us investing on your behalf. This is not us constructing an investment product. This is an educational program to give you all the tools so that you can make those decisions. And then we give you all the tools to decide and make those decisions, whether you want custody, whether you want self-custody, and what to do if your custody goes wrong, and what to do if your self-custody goes wrong. And so that you're completely risk managed and diversified and unshakable is the goal there, so that you don't worry about the whims of the market, and when things go wrong, you prepared for those eventualities. You've done the security modules, you've done the inheritance modules, you've figured out your exact tax strategy, you've figured out what your financial plan looks like, your compounding income, your compounding growth, and you've set your asset allocations and diversifications. That's what we're going to be doing. If you want to do that, then that's what the 7-week online coaching program and wealth management program is designed to do. It's not an investment product or a fund or any of those things. I hope that's crystal clear by now.
All right, question from Patrick. After completing the wealth management course, how many hours per week are typically required to maintain the portfolio on an ongoing basis?
Well, this is down to you. So my retirement plan B is literally a transfer some money once a month, and forget, and everything's done for you. I really created the portfolio builder service really selfishly because I wanted it. I knew that it didn't exist anywhere, so I said, well, here's the service that I want. And our team set about figuring out how to create it, and all the different financial innovation and providers and everything. And they charged me the big bucks so that everyone else can benefit from it. On the online wealth management program, it's me revealing exactly what I do and giving you the information to be able to do that yourself as well. What was the question? I've forgotten it.
The question is,
did I answer it?
After completing the wealth management course, how many hours per week are typically required to maintain the portfolio on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, now some people, so that's my retirement plan B. At the same time, I'm a financial geek. I'm a tinkerer. So I love to play with all the innovative financial products. But that's not for my, that's not for my retirement plan. That's for me geeking out and playing around with all the different innovations so that I fundamentally believe in a few things. Firstly, I believe in learning by doing, and I believe in learning by mentoring. So whenever I want to learn something, I immerse myself in the best people in that field and, immerse myself deeply. Then I repeat. I do a lot of repetition. I continually learn. I continually take in new perspectives, and I continually repeat, because I hold a fundamental belief that until you're doing, you haven't learned. And so some people believe, oh yeah, I've heard all that before. I know all that before. But they're not doing it. So to me, it means that they still need to eat and they still need to implement. But once you actually do it, that's when you really learn. That's when you make the mistakes. That's when you learn. And that's when you have the fastest rate of growth. And so whenever I'm doing, I like to learn. I like to repeat many times. I like to immerse, and I like to put into action to learn. So whenever I talk about a financial product, I'm always looking at experimenting with it and understanding it a little bit deeper myself. But that's not my retirement plan B. My retirement plan B is set up to automate, set and forget. And then if I want to take a percentage of my wealth and tinker and play around with financial innovation, then I do that because I enjoy it more like a hobby, as opposed to pinning my financial future on that.
Okay, this is an important question from Roland. How do you cope with privacy of the students? Are the spreadsheets downloadable?
Yes, so the best, the spreadsheets were built upon a Google Doc. So the Google Doc is the best experience, but then we also have the Excel version. The challenge that we had is that when we created it and you download it on a Mac, some people had a bit of a challenge there because they needed to update the APIs. So the best experience is on Excel for PC or Google Doc. And the challenge with using Excel on Mac meant that you had to actually do a few upgrades and implementations, and we kept having to upgrade it because just the way it is. So that is the spreadsheets that we have for now, and we're continually improving those things as well.
Okay, question from Tanya. Portfolio Builder, what services are included?
So Portfolio Builder is a custody account, a segregation asset protection structure, and a contract to automate all of the different strategy mixes that you set for yourself in the online wealth management program. So that's what the Portfolio Builder is. It's the actual retirement plan. And the online wealth management program is everything you need to determine exactly how you want to set up and manage your retirement plan.
I think another question from Tanya that was meant to be in that one. Portfolio service, what is the net worth, what is the minimum net worth in order to join Portfolio Builder?
So to set up a Portfolio Builder, it's not a program like the online wealth management program where you join it. To set up a Portfolio Builder, we only have a license at the moment to work with those that have a minimum of $1 million net worth. That doesn't mean you have to invest $1 million. You can do that as small or as large as you like. But our regulatory requirements state that at the moment we can only work with high net worth investors. And we are applying for an additional license to be able to work with people that don't have $1 million of net worth.
Okay, please clarify what percentage of our retirement portfolio should be in crypto.
That's determined in modules 1 and 2 of the online wealth management program, where you input all of your plans and your details. That depends upon your age, your wealth, your financial goals, everything you set yourself. The answer is that by the end of the program, you will know exactly what percentages are right for you in order to achieve exactly what you have set for yourself.
Okay, will the Friday live Q&A sessions be recorded and made available during and after the 7 weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you cannot make the session, then you can submit your question in advance. And then all of the sessions are recorded and put into the program and the portal, and you can go back to them as many times as you want within the 2-year period of the online wealth management program.
Okay. Can you discuss the process and pitfalls of transferring funds from a traditional mutual fund stocks IRA into a crypto asset IRA?
Yeah, the main pitfall is whether the IRA service provider that you're currently signed up with allows you to do it. If they don't allow you to do it, then you can set up a new one that does allow you to do it. And that's the main pitfall.
A question from Kelly. Will new members have access to your previous ICOs, specifically Ripple?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question. So if you want to purchase Ripple stock, then if you are a qualifying investor on banktothefuture.com, then you can purchase that on the platform on our secondary market. So Ripple Labs, the company, is a company on our secondary market via one of our structures. It's interesting, but the reason the way we came up with this structure for the portfolio builder is because we've been doing it for years with many of the largest companies in crypto. So Ripple Labs, we own some stock via one of our Cayman Island structures. And then people can buy and sell those shares on the secondary market on Bank to the Future. Not to be confused with the token XRP. The company owns approximately 50 to 60% of all XRP. So it's a really interesting play because the value of XRP that they own on their balance sheet is worth more than the valuation of the stock, which is really interesting in terms of a play. And so I do own some Ripple Labs stock from the company in my retirement plan B now. And I purchased that through banktothefuture.com on the secondary market. That's nothing to do with an ICO, though. You're confusing tokens with shares. This will all become clearer if you, for those that are completing the program and understand the difference between all these different asset classes.
Okay, question from Steen. Please, can we address security? Please describe all legitimate forms of communication channels you use for the group. I may have suspicious communications via Telegram.
So firstly, if anyone is contacting you on Telegram as Simon Dixon, it is not me. I have a Telegram announcement group, and that's it. And so if you're in the announcement group, I will never contact you, and I will never ask you to send me some money or engage in some kind of investment product. I operate banktothefuture.com. So if you're engaging in banktothefuture.com, always do it via the website. I have a Telegram announcement group, and that's the only thing. We also have an alumni Telegram group for those that have completed the online wealth management program, and you will be invited to that. The other websites that we operate is retirementplanb.com, where I've been communicating all along. And that's everything. Every time I release a YouTube video, under every single comment, someone will pretend to be me. Anything that happens on Telegram, someone will contact you pretending to be me. They're scammers. They're trying to steal your money. I will never contact you through any of those means, and I will certainly never ask you to send any money anywhere. And if you ever make an investment, it will be done on banktothefuture.com. It won't be done off platform. And if you're purchasing Retirement Plan B, then just make sure you're on the correct retirementplanb.com website. I haven't seen any scam sites yet, but I'm sure they will pop up at some stage, and we'll try and get those taken down. But just make sure you're using the website, and you'll be paying by card and crypto payment through the retirementplanb.com website.
Are you helping to set up trust accounts and paperwork, or we have to set up our own?
Yeah, you'd have to set up your own. So we would guide you on having a full plan of exactly what you want to do. And if you decide that setting up a trust is part of your inheritance plan or whatever the structure may be, then that would be something you'd engage a professional to set up for you. We don't offer those services. We don't offer trust accounts. If you are qualified to have a portfolio builder service, if that was available to you, then part of that is setting up a structure and having a trust and custody account set up as part of the package. So if you want to set up your own trust, that really requires bespoke advice from a lawyer, and whatever the tax consequences are, require a tax advisor to plan that with you. And that's a bespoke wealth management service at that stage.
Is the amount of money I invest visible for you or online in a database?
No. Okay, let me clarify. So on the online wealth management program, we'll guide you on, give you the tools, you go out and implement, you go out and execute. Whether you use banktothefuture.com, I am the CEO and a shareholder at banktothefuture.com. And so as that is a centralized company. And we are required to have that information to provide the service. If you do the portfolio builder, then yes. If you want to do this in a fully private way, fully anonymized way, then you're looking at using decentralized financial services. And even then, you're subject to blockchain analysis and all sorts of stuff there. So you'd have to be deeply, deeply technical to be able to execute everything fully off-chain and fully anonymized and all sorts of stuff. That's how these services. This is regulated financial institutions that are offering these centralized services, in which case that data has to be known. Otherwise, the service can't be delivered and they get shut down by regulators overnight.
Okay, a question from Kelly. Will new members have access to your previous ICOs, specifically Ripple?
That's the same question. I think there's a bit confusion there. The wealth management program is not an ICO. Don't see the connection. And Ripple is a company that you can purchase shares for on Bank to the Future if you qualify to invest on Bank to the Future.
Okay, do you agree with Raoul Powell's thesis on ETH having more exponential growth potential than BTC, Bitcoin?
Yeah, and if you listen to Masterclass 3, then you will know that the higher down the risk curve you go, the more likely you are to receive higher returns. If you enter into a bear phase, the higher down the risk curve you go, the more likely you are to get wrecked and lose funds. And so really the retirement plan B is about not messing around with any of that stuff, having a plan, knowing where you expect the higher returns to be, and being able to adjust accordingly as the market evolves. And so we don't need to become expert callers of let's put all of our money here. We are setting up a set and forget and not messing around with any of that stuff. If you want to take a percentage of your funds to continue trading and finding the best returns, then don't even look at ETH. You'd be looking at some tiny low liquidity altcoin that may go up 10,000% in 2 days because somebody pressed the wrong button. And so returns have to be risk adjusted. And ETH is riskier than Bitcoin because the future of it is not fully understood and changes happen frequently. And so if you watch the video series, you would have understood about complexity theory. If you don't know what that is, return to Masterclass 3 and need to do a bit more repetition to understand how this all fits together.
Okay, I guess one more question or two more questions. We've got about 2 minutes left.
Okay, we'll do 2 more questions.
All right, question from Roland. Sorry, Simon, but did I understand it well that you don't need to invest 1 million in the portfolio builder, but you only need $1 million on assets?
You got it. Yeah. So sorry, I really appreciate you repeating the question because I assume as sometimes more because it's in my head and I'm trying to get it out as fast as possible. So let me clarify. The portfolio builder, you do not need to invest $1 million. You could decide to invest $1,000 if you choose. In order to qualify for it, there is a regulatory requirement that you have a net worth of over $1 million across your entire net worth. And that is just a regulatory requirement of who our regulators say this product is appropriate for. So you don't need to invest all your money in the portfolio builder. It's just a requirement of who can do it. And as I said, in the future, our legal team and our compliance team are working on additional procedures and processes to be able to work with investors that don't have $1 million net worth, but that's subject to regulators. And one thing I learned a long, long time ago is don't second guess regulators.
Okay, and the final question is, do you think self-custody, like using Trezor or of crypto, will be or can be banned?
That's an interesting question. So I believe that in the future, cash may be banned, and I think that's the same argument, really. So if cash becomes illegal and self-custody of assets becomes illegal, then we've probably hit a communist state at that, wherever you live at that stage. And hopefully there's competing countries and you can choose another jurisdiction, because there will always be an opportunity from another country that won't do such draconian style of organizing their economies. You're talking really about a completely totalitarian, fully communist, illegal private rights. Certainly some countries might go down that route, but on a global scale, I have more hope for the world. People might think I'm ignorant, but I choose to believe that thanks to competing countries and thanks to competing currencies, and thanks to the innovation that came from Bitcoin, that we are moving into a world where you have a fully competing different types of products, and then you just need to navigate how you manage those. Because sometimes the centralized service is better than the decentralized service. Other times the decentralized service is better than the centralized service. Depends what it's built for, depends what you're trying to achieve. I don't believe that we end up in a world where there's a global ban on self-custody of your own assets. We've already seen an example, for example, after the last Great Depression, then it was made illegal. Not the last Great Depression, but it was made illegal for Americans to own gold, and they had to trade it in at the Federal Reserve and at the central bank or treasury. Then they had to reverse that, and other countries did not follow. So competing countries, some countries won't follow that suite, so I don't think you get a global. If you happen to be in a country where that happens, then I can guarantee you there will be an exodus away, and they won't be competitive in the future. So that's what is the competition, it's the free markets that give me hope. And thankfully, despite lots of central banks and governments deciding that free markets don't matter anymore, we have these things that exist outside of the traditional financial system where free markets still prevail. So I am really glad that we managed to do as many of those questions. I don't think we got through all 200, but I really believe with this, we're going to send out some emails over the weekend as we wrap up registration for the online wealth management program. I think we're going to send out an FAQ. We'll try and get those 300 testimonials as a PDF below this video somehow on the webinar pages, so that you can see how those that completed it this time last year, what they thought of the program. Get those final emails out to you. Make sure you're on retirementplanb.com so that we can also notify you of how to get your free book. I wanted to make sure that everybody, if you don't have one already, got a digital copy of Bank to the Future, Protect Your Future Before Governments Go Bust. As a reward for Jesus, listen to me by the end of this, we've probably done 15 hours together. If you're watching on YouTube, give me a thumbs up and let me know if you went through the whole 15 hours. I can't believe that you managed to listen to me for this whole 15 hours in this week. And if you've got any feedback, if you like this format, if you like what we've done here, then let us know, and our team will put that and put some energy into seeing what we can do this time next year, hopefully. So always remember, you are alive at one of the most interesting and exciting times in financial history. Some people are going to get wrecked. Some people are going to do incredibly well. I want you to be on the right side of that change. We are going to be leaving the online wealth management live masterclass. Get confused myself. The Retirement Plan B live masterclass up for the rest of this week. Immerse yourself over this weekend. Take the ISA challenge: immersion, strategy, accountability. If you don't know what that is, check out some earlier short form videos that I released on YouTube this week on everybody needs an ISA. And I'm not talking about an individual savings account. So I really enjoyed this journey together. And we're going to be, all my energy next week goes on to those that are on the online wealth management program. And you are alive at one of the most interesting, exciting times in financial history.